Hello, let me say a big thank you to the organizers for inviting me here. I had planned to be with you physically on the earlier date scheduled. However, I've had to embark on a journey to Germany on this newly rescheduled date. And so unfortunately, I am now left with dropping my message virtually. And this is why I'm sending you a recorded message. So let me thank you all for this opportunity. So I speak to you today on the spirit of Ndi rising, the rebirth of true eldership and the restructuring of Nigeria. I stand before you today deeply honored to share this moment with some of the finest minds, leaders, thinkers, and young people of the Southeast. In the last month of May alone, I have had the privilege and honor of speaking at two of the foremost institutions in one region, in our region, the University of Nigeria Nsukka and Nnamdi Azikiwe University. These two great institutions, two important intellectual centers, and interestingly, both are connected in spirit, history, to one towering figure, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. As I reflected on the visionaries who laid the foundation of the old Eastern region, men like Nnamdi Azikiwe, Michael Okpara, Akanu Ibiam, and others, one troubling question kept disturbing my spirit. How did men with so little achieve so much, while we with so much have achieved so little? This is not to deny that some leaders today are making efforts. Some indeed are. But truth remains truth, which is, for instance, Michael Okpara and his generation built farm settlements, industries, educational systems, regional competitiveness, economic productivity, institutional confidence with resources that are insignificant compared to what passes through our hands today. If we are honest with ourselves, we must admit that something deeper has collapsed. The problem is not first political. The problem is civilizational. And this, takes me to this question I've often asked: where are our elders? Ebe kando Kenya, In both universities, the theme kept returning to my mind, the same question: where are the elders of the land? And I came to a difficult but necessary conclusion. Not every old person is an elder. Age is simply biological. Eldership is spiritual, it is moral, it's intellectual. In Igbo land, when elderly people behave without wisdom, discipline, restraint, or responsibility, we call them Okohomwaze, elderly children. Sadly, we now have too many Okohomwaze occupying positions of influence. Yet sometimes you encounter a young person whose conduct, discipline, courage, and sense of responsibility already reflects true maturity. That person is what I would call Okenye Nobi, an elder in spirit. And that is my message to the young people gathered here today. Please become elders now. Stop waiting. Stop playing the victim. Stop assuming another generation will fix the future on your behalf. It doesn't happen. The future belongs to those who are prepared to carry responsibility before power even arrives. Any society where the youth are morally asleep and elders are spiritually compromised is already collapsing. There is an age many people arrive at in developing societies like ours where instead of pursuing legacy, they become more greedy, become something else because they fear insecurity, irrelevance, and uncertainty. So understand this clearly. Any old man who is not becoming more selfless with age is not even worthy of any leadership. Leadership requires sacrifice, because leadership without sacrifice is manipulation. Authority without moral courage is performance. Theatrics. Titles do not make elders. Truth does. Sacrifice does. Responsibility does. These are the things that make up elder. Courage, moral courage does. And the beautiful thing is this: you do not need to wait until you are 70 years old to become an elder. You become an elder the moment truth becomes more important to you than convenience. You become an elder when your conscience becomes more valuable than your comfort. I want you to think about this. And you become an elder when your life becomes bigger than your appetite. Now, many people ask, how do we avoid becoming worse than the people we criticize? Because often we look for who else to blame. The answer is very simple. See opportunities where others see decay. Nigeria's present condition, painful as it is, also presents one of the greatest opportunities for transformational leadership in our history. And I can tell you this, that Nigeria is decaying is an opportunity for every single one of us here. That corruption is widespread is an opportunity for uncommon integrity. That institutions are weak is an opportunity for institution builders. That we have not caught up with the rest of the world is an opportunity to leapfrog intelligently and strategically. Every broken system creates space for legacy. And what then should guide us? And this is the question I want all of us here to reflect. For me, three things. Let me just shorten it to three things. You can remember these three important things. Number one, search for truth. Number two, stand courageously on the side of truth. And number three, develop what I call emotional and spiritual intelligence. These three things. If you understand these three things properly, many other things will naturally align. That's the basic. Let me begin with the truth. The first assignment of leadership is the search for truth. Because when truth dies, nations become theaters of manipulation. Truth requires discernment, and discernment requires alignment with God. And a people disconnected from truth eventually become instruments in the hands of deceivers. This is exactly what we are facing in Nigeria today. Today, many people no longer seek truth. They seek comfort, they seek validation, they seek camps, they seek convenience. They actually avoid truth. And this is why propaganda flourishes. This is why mediocrity survives. Our forefathers used to go and battle for to understand what truth is. We should fight to know what the truth is. This is why many intelligent people are still being manipulated politically, economically, and even spiritually, because we don't know what the truth is. And here's the second one, which is the moral courage. That even for the remnants who know what the truth is, what do they do with the truth? Any Igwe who cannot defend truth because he fears losing his throne is not even worthy of that throne. Any bishop or pastor or church leader who sacrifices truth for convenience is falling in moral leadership. Any politician of any kind, from presidency to local government chairman to the community leaders, who knows the truth yet remains silent because of ambition, is part of the problem. History does not remember comfortable men. History remembers courageous men, men of Adulam. And this is why we must rebuild a generation that is fearless in defense of truth. Not arrogance, not being abusive, not hateful, not any of those negativity, but courageous. being courageous. And then the third thing is emotional and spiritual intelligence. We must rebuild character, courtesy, respect, empathy, discipline, and humility. Of course, self-control, all of these are traits we must intentionally rebuild. Strength without humility becomes oppression. Intelligence without spirituality becomes manipulation. Power without emotional intelligence becomes destruction. We must balance our lives with these two traits of emotional and spiritual intelligence. We must become people who fear nothing else except God. Now let us move to the deeper national question. Many people are distracted by personality politics of APC, PDP, ADC, NDC, Labour, this camp or that camp. All of this type of, have gone through all this to understand something deeper. The truth is this: Nigeria cannot change through personality politics alone. Yes, it's good to find some good quality leaders sometimes, if you even discern who that one is. However, no serious nation develops sustainably on the basis of individual alone. No. The issue is structural. Nigeria's issue, I've spoken in many places, now saying it again here. It's structural, it's civilizational, it's metaphysical, it is spiritual. Nigeria cannot continue as presently structured, and this is no longer an ethnic argument. Thank God, literally every part of Nigeria understands and agrees with this. Across the country, thoughtful Nigerians increasingly understand that the present structure is inefficient, is over-centralized, is economically unproductive and politically unstable. It doesn't benefit anybody, any region. The answer is not hatred. The answer is not division. The answer is simply a redesign. We must restructure, we must reset, we must reformat, we must reprogram Nigeria. And this conversation must now move from emotional slogans to strategic architecture. And this is not about supporting one politician against another. This is not about production of one tribal president or another, whether it's Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa or Fulani president. That's far from it. It's far more emotional. All of this is for emotional satisfaction. What we need is a structure redesign for this broken system. This is not what we are looking for to keep this status quo. We need to challenge the status quo. The spirit of Ndigbo rising is bigger than all of this. It is about moral leadership. It's about intellectual leadership. It's about intellectual courage. It's about helping Nigeria rediscover her soul. This is why all parts of Nigeria must work together. No region can rebuild this country alone. Nigeria ought to be a union of multiple nations, all sovereign, autonomous. And the next 4 years must become years of constitutional courage and structural design. It doesn't matter who is in power. It's something that must be done. This conversation can no longer be postponed. We must urgently begin to architect a fairer, a wiser, and a more productive federation. And let me say this clearly to the young people here. Stop allowing yourselves to be used merely as tools for political warfare. Do not surrender your future to propaganda merchants. Do not reduce your destiny to defending politicians online. Become builders, become thinkers, become organizers, become reformers, become elders. That is my charge for the young people of southeastern Nigeria. And let this gathering today become more than a conference. Let it become a recruitment ground for truth defenders. Let's make meaning out of this gathering. For institutional builders, for courageous minds, for emotionally mature leaders, for men and women who refuse convenience and choose sacrifice. Are you going to be one of us? Because this is bigger than elections, bigger than parties, bigger than any governor or any president, bigger than personalities, bigger than oil blocks, bigger than contracts, bigger than political camps. We are dealing with the very foundation upon which every other possibility must stand. And if you truly want to learn more about what we must do and what must be done, not just politically, but intellectually, morally, strategically, then I invite you to join the Valiant Movement. If you want to know more, go to www.valiant.me and learn more. This is a movement we are putting together to change value system of our citizenship. Because the time has come to raise a new generation of truth elders, a generation grounded in truth, driven by courage, guided by discernment, committed to justice, and prepared to rebuild Nigeria. History is calling this generation, all of us here. May we not fail history. May we not fail the God that has created us such a beautiful region. Thank you, and God bless you.